All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are still doing well. And it's on to day three with these wide receivers. And there are a lot of receivers that are being evaluated in that day three area. So we got some ground to cover, but we are now through the guys who on the mock, or not mock draft, but well, I guess you would call it the mock draft database, but the big board aggregate that are in the top 100. So now we're on to guys that are currently projected to be somewhere around round four. We'll call this video the early round four guys. And we're going to start with Jacoby Lane, the other USC receiver. Not the most prolific one, but still a compelling prospect in his own way. 22, big, 6'4", one of the taller receivers in this draft. He's Denzel Boston size. Not super heavy, though, only 200 pounds. He's got nice long arms and big, big hands, though. And the combine was decent for a guy his size. The 4.47's okay. 1.58's a little bit frustrating, but the vert and broad were awesome. So he is explosive. And you can see that a couple of big boards do have him in the third. Walter has him in the second. But overall, the aggregate puts him in the very early fourth. And you can see he never really had that big breakout season. But if you look at 2024, the guy had 43 catches and 12 touchdowns, which is kind of insane. Now, this last year, he wasn't just a pure red zone guy, 49 catches, 4 touchdowns, a little bit more balanced, but you can see that he could be a big problem for opposing defenses in the red zone. All right, so positives with Lane, uses big size well to win contested balls. He's really good in 50-50 ball situations. He's going to use his extra he's going to use the extra length that he has, and he's going to use his jumping ability to win. He's going to be a big time red zone threat in the NFL for sure, I think. There's no way he's not. At the very least, you're getting that. He's also a highlight reel catch guy because he has a big catch radius. He can go out and get passes that are off target. So he's a guy with a great highlight reel, and that is going to play in the NFL as well. He has some yak skills. He is somebody who's able to find a way to get yards after the catch pretty well. He's got the ability to throttle and pace his routes, which is great, which is something that a lot of these younger guys don't have. And he's smart. He's an intelligent receiver, knows how to attack zone, knows how to threaten man, and then use leverage to get open against man. So there's a lot to like with Jacoby Lane. Now, there are some concerns. I do think that his routes still can get better. I think that he has to improve because remember, he's not super fast. So you got to run good routes. His 4.47 is pretty good, but if you actually watch the tape, he doesn't look that fast. And it feels like he is leaving something on the table as it pertains to his ability to separate. He is slow to accelerate, so the speed doesn't matter as much when he can't get up to top speed very quickly. Physical corners are a problem for him, which is disappointing because he is a bigger guy. I think that he's going to have to learn to play a little bit more physically. I think he's going to have to learn to play against press a little bit better. Right now, press can take him out of his game. So if you play physically with him, he does tend to kind of shy away a little bit, which is, I think, something that's going to have to get ironed out here. I feel like there's something special here, though, if he can do that. I just don't know if it happens. I feel like if he can play with a little bit more physicality, he could be a really dangerous NFL player. But you just don't know if he's going to be able to do that. So early to mid third round for me, I see some potential here that I really like. I just don't know if he's going to end up being able to capitalize on it. So earlier mid third round, I like him a little bit more than the aggregate. Next up is Skyler Bell, the Yukon receiver, 24, a little bit smaller, 6 feet flat, 192 pounds, not super small, kind of short arms, big hands, ran a really good 40, monster vert, monster broad, so he's fast and he's explosive, so good athlete. Aggregate says early fourth, like I said, had a big year in 2025. 100 catches, almost 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, without great quarterback play, by the way. So he's putting up those numbers that you're looking for. 2024 put up pretty good numbers as well. So Skyler Bell is a downfield threat, and this might be the kind of guy that the Seahawks want in the draft. He can stretch the defense. He can quickly get downfield. He is a guy that demands a safety over the top. He's got good ball skills at the catch point. He's able to make toe dragging catches. He's able to make plays on the ball when they're a little bit outside of his range. He's also capable of using his speed to run off the defense and then snap the route off over the middle. And he produced at a high level without having a great quarterback over at UConn. So Skyler Bell is a very very adept deep threat, and unlike some of the other guys we talk about, he's actually produced at that high level. Almost 1,300 yards last year without a particularly good quarterback at UConn. So that is definitely good. Now, he does come with a lot of the weaknesses that a lot of big play receivers have. He doesn't have great hands, does drop a lot of passes. He gets thrown off by physical press. If you press him at the line, he struggles to beat it. So that's going to be a problem for him. Once he's got the ball in his hands, he's not really making people miss. He's kind of a straight line speed guy. Feels like he's holding something back when he's running routes as well. Like he is fast, but I feel like he's not accessing his full flow of speed when he's in a route. It's a little bit mechanical even. And he's not really a guy who finishes through contact as well as you would like. He's a little bit kind of like Lane. You're a little bit worried about his physicality. So this is a logical replacement for a guy like Shaheed. He's got issues, but I do think he will be a guy that when he's on the field, the defense is going to have to be worried about him. The defense is going to be like, oh, Skyler Bell's on the field. Gotta leave the safety over the top. Gotta double team. Gotta play off of him, or else he's going to beat us over the top. So I'd be okay in the third round because I do think this kind of thing is valuable. And I think it's the kind of thing we need if we lose Shaheed, which it looks like we will. But I will admit there are problems here. So tough one. But I like the speed. And some of the other stuff can get better. Okay, one final guy in this group, the early fourth round, Brennan Thompson of Mississippi State. This was one of the combine darlings. And he got to be a combine darling just because he ran really, really fast. So he's 23, very small, 164 pounds. It's like Tutu Atwell territory. Short arms, small hands. The guy is tiny, and that is a problem, but he makes up for it with his 4.2640. The guy can fly. One of the fastest combine times we've ever had. The 10-yard split wasn't great, actually, which is kind of interesting, but on the field, I do think he has pretty good acceleration, so I'm not super worried about it. Big boards, like I said, the aggregate puts him in the early fourth. I think that's kind of where he is right now. And look, he was productive last year. He wasn't super productive at Mississippi State, but you see what he is. 18.5 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns, 1,000 yards on 57 catches. The guy, he gets downfield and then he makes big plays. This is the definition of a downfield threat. This is about as pure as it gets. And not only is he a vertical route guy, he is a guy who you can get him the ball in a crossing route and then just let him use his speed to get upfield and get yak. So he's not really a yak guy, but he's so fast he can become a yak guy. He's also someone who can threaten deep with his speed and then break off a route. That is something that's going to work in his favor at the NFL level. And he's also got a pretty sick release package. Just through his foot speed and agility, he can get off a press and get open against guys that try to chuck him at the line, which is very tough. But at the end of the day, he's a very small receiver, and just to give an idea of what I'm talking about here, he's actually very willing as a run blocker. He really tries to run block, but how much are you going to be able to do with this kind of a frame? Not much. If you're physical with him, if you do manage to get a jam on him, if you do manage to get your hands on him, it's really tough for him to get off of the press. His routes are a little bit stilted and obvious. He's not very deceptive. He's not very smooth in how he moves. He does drop a lot of passes too. He's another one of these downfield threat guys that is going to be not super consistent, but makes enough big plays to make up for it. He's not elusive or creative in the open field. He's just kind of a straight line speed guy for the most part. And he's battled some injuries in his career already. So Brennan Thompson, What you see is what you get. He's exactly what you would expect from a 164-pound receiver. The only way these guys get in the NFL is typically if they're really, really fast, and he is really, really fast. I don't think there's a ton else here that's all that appealing, but that speed alone is going to provide value. So fourth round feels about right to me. Maybe late third, but that's tough, man. You're spending a late third round pick on a receiver that gives you straight line speed and not a ton else. I don't know how to feel about that, but fourth round feels more appropriate to me, and that seems to be where most people are. All right, I'm going to go and get on out of here. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you guys think of this crew. And tomorrow, I think tomorrow, we will be talking about some of the later fourth round guys and on. All right, go Hawks.